Good morning, Ma'am Kimberly and classmates. Welcome to our presentation. Our reporter number 1, Kalila Shaira Morales, will be talking about invertebrates.
Invertebrates. Invertebrates are animals without backbones. Invertebrates range from microscopic to macroscopic, and their body forms, structures, and modes of survival vary tremendously. Any animal that lacks a vertebral column or backbone, in contrast to the cartilaginous or bony vertebrates, more than 90% of all living animal species are invertebrates. Worldwide in distribution, they include animals as diverse as sea stars, sea urchins, earthworms, sponges, jellyfish, lobsters, crabs, insects, spiders, snails, clams, and squid. Invertebrates are especially important as agricultural pests, parasites, or agents for the transmission of parasitic infections to humans and other vertebrates.
Our reporter number 2 by yours truly, Zashky Vhon Gabelan, will be reporting about Phylum Porifera. Phylum Porifera, also known as sponges. Sponges are considered the simplest animals. They are aquatic organisms that mostly thrive in the marine environment. Sponges' bodies do not contain true tissues. They are sessile and generally asymmetrical. The distinguishing feature of the phylum is the presence of pores or holes called ostia, where water can enter and exit. They are filter feeders. Wood particles that are carried by the currents of water are trapped by the cell's lining, the pores, and are digested within the cell intracellular digestion. Sponges' bodies are supported by an internal skeleton called spicules that may be composed of silica, calcium carbonate, or a fibrous collagenous protein called spongin. Sponges reproduce sexually. The sperm is shed into the water, taken into the body by another sponge to fertilize the egg cells. The young sponge develops within the body of its parent. They also reproduce by budding or by fragmentation. Reporter number 3, Christine Ballior, will be telling about Phylum Nidaria.
Let's talk about phylum Cnidaria. Cnidaria is a phylum under kingdom Animalia containing over 11,000 species of aquatic animals found both in freshwater and marine environments, predominantly the latter. Phylum Cnidaria. The cnidarians or the coelentrates have simple bodies. Their body wall is made of two cell layers called the ectoderm and the endoderm. They are radially symmetrical animals that live in marine and freshwater habitats. The phylum is called Cnidaria by some scientists due to the ring of stinging cells called cnidocytes that line the tentacles surrounding the mouth of the animals. The tentacles are used for protection and capturing food. The phylum is also called Coelenterata due to the presence of a one-way digestive tract, a single opening that serves as both its mouth and anus called coelenteron. Cnidarians have two basic body forms, the mobile or free-swimming form called medusa, example is jellyfish, and the tubular sessile form called polyp, example is hydra. They may be solitary, meaning they live on their own or in colonies. Reproduction in cnidarians may be sexual or asexual, by budding. Some members exhibit complex life cycle involving the alternation of the asexual polyp stage and the asexual of medusa stage. Example are jellyfish, hydras, and corals. Body structure. All cnidarians share a particular trait, tentacles with stinging nematodes, The nematodes act like tiny harpoons reacting to stimuli by hurling out small stinging cells that both poison and hook potential prey. The thread attaching the stinging cell to the cnidarian then retracts, drawing the victim back to the main body of the cnidarian to be eaten or stung to death. Like other invertebrates, cnidarian lack bones and a central nervous system. Instead, they have a nerve net. The mesoglea acts as little more than a glue in some cnidarians while making up most of the animal, as in the case of the jellyfish in other cnidarians. Cnidarians all have a main body cavity with only one opening, the mouth, which is surrounded by tentacles. In the sessile or non-mobile forms, the mouth points up. In the mobile medusa form, the mouth points down. The muscles of the body wall help a medusa swim, and the tentacles of the anemones and coral move using hydrostatic action. Cnidarians represent a complex level of organization than Porifera. They possess outer and inner tissue layers that sandwich a non-cellular mesoglea between them. Cnidarians possess a well-formed digestive system and carry out extracellular digestion in a digestive cavity that extends through much of the animal.
Our reporter number 4, Shanley Fernandez, will be announcing about Phylum Platyhelminths.
Phylum Platyhelminths. So what is Phylum Platyhelminths? So Phylum Platyhelminths belongs to kingdom Animalia. The organisms are also known as flatworms. These are aquilommates, and they include many free-living and parasitic life forms. Members of this phylum range in size from a single-celled organism to around 2 to 3 feet long. What is the characteristic of platyhelminths? So the characteristic of platyhelminths are triploblastic and aquilommates and bilitarily systematical. They may be free-living or parasites. The body has a soft covering with or without cilia. Their body is disseverantly flattened without any segments and appears like leaf. So that is the characteristic of platyhelminths. Members of Phylum Platyhelminths are generally called as Platyhelminths, very commonly known as flatworm or tapeworm. These animals are soft-body invertebrate animals. These are around 20,000 species of these animals. A few of these live as parasites on the human and other animals. So this is the examples of Phylum Platyhelminths. So number 1, flatworm, Monogenia, flux, and tapeworm.
Reporter number 5, Laika Villaseor, will be relaying about Phylum Nematodes.
Phylum Nematodes. Nematodes have long, slender, and unsegmented bodies that taper on both ends. Threadworms have bilateral symmetry and with a complete digestive system. The one-way gut has 2 openings that function as the mouth and anus. The 3 living forms, vinegar eel and rotifers, thrive in the aquatic environment and feed on a wide variety of food sources. The parasitic species are chiefly endoparasites and have bodies covered with thick layers of cuticle that protects them from being digested by the enzymes present in digestive cavity of their host. Nematodes' bodies consist of 3 tissue layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. They are dioecious, with the females being larger than the males. Pinworm, filaria worm, trichina worm, and ascaris are examples of endoparasitic nematodes. Ascaris lumbricoides is the large nematode that spends its adult stage in the intestine of its host. Each day, a female ascaris can lay as many as 200,000 embryonated eggs, which pass out of its host via the feces. Ascaris infection, called ascariasis, occurs in places where sanitary facilities are poor.
That's all, peeps. Thank you so much for listening.